Welcome, AfterBuzzers. You are watching the after show for House of Cards, Chapter 65. Stay tuned for more.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
There we go.
Are we actually dancing now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're good.
The white guy clearly does not know what's going on.
Well, welcome, House of Cards fans. You are watching the finale episode for House of Cards, Chapter 65. We finally did it. Claire is president. We did it. You guys know me. My name is Shaka Smith. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at Shaka Strong.
Hey guys, I'm Louiza Sharamatyan, and you can find me on Instagram at Nobody Reads Anymore and on Twitter at Nobody Reads.
Hey guys, I'm Taylor Gates. You can find me on Twitter at alphabet_Ann and on Instagram at Taylor_Gates_.
And I'm Kevin Ellis. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at the Kevin Ellis.
Well, guys, we made it. We made it to the finale. Yeah.
It's your turn, Claire.
Yeah.
It's your turn.
We didn't get to binge watch, but we finally got to the finale.
Weeks later.
I know. So hopefully this is not too late for everyone else out there who's watching.
Oh, it is.
Yeah,
It's fine.
They're like, what was the House of Cards?
I don't know how we avoided spoilers.
Yeah, yeah.
That was, yeah.
We were-
I'm
that's
so
I was like
pleased.
closing my eyes, like I couldn't look at it.
Man, so this started off with a great little showdown a little bit between Frank and Romero.
Yeah.
And he
Rochelle.
says one name, Rochelle. What did you guys think of that? Great way to hem him up, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it was just one of those moments where you took that fleeting bit from last episode, where it was 2 episodes ago, where the whole college rape bit came about, and we're thinking, okay, is this really going to play into anything? Because, well, Frank says he's going to resign. Doesn't seem like he's got a plan, Romero, at all. Turns out, yeah, he's actually making moves.
They're good at planting those little seeds and then like having them spring up later into something really big and life-changing.
Of course. I mean, even when he did the interview and he kind of said, oh, it's history, it's time for a woman president. That's what he had to say.
Yeah. And did you guys even see Frank actually resigning? Because remember, I thought like he had some play to still be president. Yeah. Did you guys shocked by the actual resignation?
No. I don't think I was shocked.
I was a little. I was surprised. I thought he was going to maintain power.
Yeah.
Though I think his play was quite interesting, because I thought that the Elysian Fields episode was very. It was odd.
Yeah.
We didn't feel like anything
woods.
came of it.
Yeah.
And we know that it is a very big power play. And I know that I talk about it with my brother often, about just like this back door power play that a lot of these individuals make. Yeah. So it's interesting that Frank took that route. That it became very. Real thing, and he saw the desire, the need to actually maintain that type of power, and
sort of like it's Donald Trump upset that he went from the private sector to the public.
Exactly.
Well, he
yeah.
mentions that he wants to navigate from the private sector, having Claire in the White House, inside the house, so they could just have this powerful.
But did you buy it? This dude for the last how many seasons has just been wanting power in the Oval.
No, he takes power to where he is. He knows that he can't be president anymore. Things are happening. They're falling apart. So he just moves that status to wherever he is.
You bought it. So I guess you bought it.
I bought it.
Did you buy it?
I bought it.
I bought it because he now has complete control of himself.
Yeah.
He found through the presidency that there were a lot of checks and balances on his own power that he did not want to have to deal with anymore. He has influence over Claire. He has that say still.
Yeah.
He's got more power, in essence, outside of the presidency. And I think that that's exactly what he wants now. That's what he feels like he needs in order to fulfill his own destiny.
Let's go to Taylor, who agrees with me. What did you...
I feel like he's such an insecure person that when he talks, he's almost trying to convince himself to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's like there's obviously more power outside, like in the private sector. I'm like, I
was screaming at my TV. I mean, if he had been sort of a Donald Trump who had that kind of power, then was like, this is crazy, let me go back, I would have believed it. But your entire career has been getting to this moment.
Even earlier in the season, they were talking about essentially ruling for like years and years and years. It just doesn't add
Underwood,
up.
under 27. It was like, where did this come from?
Well, now it's still going to be Underwood, but it's just going to be Claire Underwood.
No, remember when he kept saying all the years and all,
abolishing the terms. Yeah,
that's why I was just very like disappointed in that that part of the story. But we see the relationship between Frank and Claire is frayed, and that's another reason. Like, you don't have the best relationship, so why would you think that you're going to be able to control Claire from outside the White House?
And you owe it to yourself. Oh, I made you president. Everything led up to this moment, and she's like, "Should I say thank you to you? Like, what do you want?"
Yeah. So the relationship's frayed. That I didn't really believe it, but so Claire's upset that Frank didn't share it with her. How do you guys see this whole fraying relationship between the two?
I'm for Claire. You know, he was the leak. We know that, right? But he was in this plan with Doug. Doug was aware, and she wasn't ready. At least she could have had her crew with her, you know? And moving forward with the war and everything, and not being ready with the right people. But I'm all for Claire, and he should have told her.
That's the one thing that she hates the most, is being kept in the dark.
Yeah.
When he doesn't share things with her, like, he knows that is her breaking point. That's the one thing that she will not tolerate.
Is her ally.
Yeah.
So it wasn't surprising to me that she reacted so extremely.
Yeah.
I wasn't surprised. I don't think that she's not going to pardon Frank. I think that she has to.
But not now.
But not now. No.
On her terms.
But I mean, if she doesn't know, it's kind of convenient, right? For it eliminates what might be a problem, kind of. Unless he kills her, as he. Like, was anyone surprised by?
No, because he will.
that
He will. But
how did you guys feel about that, though?
Like, do you actually think he's going to kill her?
Well, the way he said it, I believed it.
No, but he's so dangerous. Even the way he even
He's so great.
He tells Jane too, like, do you know how dangerous I am and everything?
Yeah.
I think that he will come up with ways. But I do want to mention, Kevin, you were right on how you said that you think Doug and Frank were together on this.
Yeah.
Did
Thank
you
you.
know?
Thank you. No, straight up.
Yeah.
I was just listening to the cues.
I
It
didn't
was
know
just the
she
cues.
was a lead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was again, it was the language that he had with Hammerschmidt, which I was trying to find actually today because I wanted to reference it because I keep thinking like, oh, I'm gonna find this on the internet, but I just had to rewatch the episode and I didn't, sadly.
Yeah.
That sucks, though, is that doesn't change the fact that Doug's still not, like, he's going to jail.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think so.
maybe.
Well, he will if he doesn't get a pardon.
He'll get the pardon. Well,
You think Claire?
Claire, I don't know if she's going to pardon him, but she does appreciate loyalty. The fact that it was for Frank and not for her, questionable, but Doug will not go away.
I mean, she's done so much for Frank. Even killing Tom Yates was to save his presidency.
Well, or
You know,
maybe to
both
save
things,
her
but-
presidency.
True, but still, I think she has every right to extend the pardon. So.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't even know if she's gonna pardon Frank, let alone Doug.
And it's true that there's possibility that they might not have enough evidence to incriminate Doug Stamper. Like, he doesn't have a full-out confession.
He essentially confessed to killing Zoe Barnes. He pretty much did that with Hammerschmidt.
I mean, he did it
And
with
the
Hammerschmidt,
lawyers.
and did he say with the lawyers?
Yeah.
Was it against the
Yeah.
attorney?
Yeah.
So he's
He's all right. He's in there. He's in the weeds.
Is he on house arrest, right? Because he was looking at
Yeah,
He's
you're
on
right.
house arrest, and as usual,
Alright,
he's listening to this. He's listening to Charles Dickens again, the sacrifice tape on
that
how
was interesting.
he's taking the blame, everything. So
Yeah.
I was kind of surprised how controlled his reaction was, though. I thought he was gonna go crazier than just listening to tapes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or what did you think of the reaction when Leanne tells him, we need
Get
you
out.
out before the transition?
he wanted some time.
Yeah.
He's like, I want to
Yeah.
just sit down and.
It made me
That was
so,
cold, right?
Yeah, it made me so mad even when Frank was like, you can take something from the office.
That was so weird. Like, wish I take a pencil? Like,
That's what I'm saying.
no.
Like, he's given you years of his life and killed people, and you're just like, take a pen.
Well, I actually
thought it was sentimental.
I like that scene because
Yeah.
it did kind of like get you back into the fact that you are in the White House.
Yeah.
Like you are in, so like this is a moment, and it's not going to happen again. At least not with Frank and Doug.
Yeah, and as you guys were kind of mentioning before, this is he's giving up a part of what he had always wanted, the presidency. So
Yeah.
yes, I was saying earlier, he does find that there's more power outside of the presidency, but he did respect the office, and he wants to remember it as his own at one point in time, and I know that Doug has fought for it too.
That's like the dichotomy of Frank. Like he respects the office, but doesn't respect the office. Frank being the leak, I thought that was interesting because Hammerschmidt's investigation was going nowhere.
Yeah.
And it didn't seem like they were, like, it seemed like Frank could have weaseled out of this whole thing. What do you guys think about him being part of the league with Doug?
It kind of confused me. I feel like I want flashbacks showing, like, how he leaked this stuff and what
Yeah.
he did. That was kind of confusing to me.
Yeah, what do you guys think?
also, like, even though I predicted it, I also did not fully understand why. For the very reason that you mentioned, Hammerschmidt he wasn't going anywhere with any of the information, so there's no point if you can't. If there's no way of incriminating him for the death of Zoe Barnes, he has no reason to truly leave the office.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, he had some kind of inkling because he said when you bring yourself down first before someone else does, you control how it happens.
Right.
Yeah, but it seemed like he might have been able to avoid being brought down at all, especially with the Romero information. Why don't you use that before the meeting?
Yeah. Now, again, I'm sure that, and we'll just say it's a writing decision. We'll say that Hammerschmidt could have gotten closer. He could have found information that might have incriminated him. So we'll just say that there's a reason why this is happening, and I hope the writers truly reward us in the end.
Yeah.
Otherwise, this is going to be a very boring next season.
Yeah. Well, I don't think it'll be too boring because we still have Jane in play, and Jane is like really emerging as one of the most interesting characters. Do I want to see her as president? Maybe. What did you?
Or Usher.
What did you guys think? Especially, I thought that Jane's conversation with Claire.
I love that breakfast
was
scene.
so powerful, especially when Claire's like, "What are you to me? And who are you?" What did you guys think?
I loved, first of all, how she said, "Oh, I didn't know the degree of how you stole the presidency with your husband, obviously." And I also liked how she said, "Oh, we can kind of get rid of Frank if we use Chelsea."
Yeah. What did you?
She's all for her, and I think she might be in love with her.
I agree.
Agreed.
In love?
Yeah.
With Claire?
There was sexual tension
There was
there.
sexual tension.
Absolutely.
Which she did allude to. She did allude to
I
it.
missed it.
I know.
Totally missed it.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Wow. Well,
I don't know if it's going to be reciprocated, but it was definitely.
Because what I took away from that was Jane was like silently checking Claire. Like, I didn't realize the degree that you guys stole the election. And for me, that was such a power play of like, let me let you know that I've got you. Like, you know.
But see, when she was like, I want to work with you, but the way I feel about you makes it hard for me to do my job the best I can, that felt romantic to
I
me.
thought it was just like I'm liking you and I'm less of a cold-hearted person. I just like you and I'm rooting for you because you're a woman. That's what I thought.
Yeah, that's true too. You never know with the relationships on this
Yeah,
show.
You don't, but I do
they're
think
all
that it
pretty
is
fluid.
Well,
a deeper relationship.
absolutely. Well, that's one thing I feel as far as them having this sexual tension. I also feel Claire and Mark Usher have some kind of tension going on.
I
Did
was
you
sensing
feel
that
that?
too. Yeah, I was
Walking
sensing
in the
it.
hallway, him asking.
Really? You guys didn't?
Oh my God, something's gonna go down.
Claire-
Yeah, I'm thinking it too. I'm thinking it's definitely possible.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know how well it's going to go now that he's suggested he be vice president. That
was perfect. How
out of the blue and makes no sense.
he says, "I'm going to keep your power and your secrets," which is I'm blackmailing you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But her secrets are his secrets, so
but it's on his hands. He cleaned it up.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like,
Exactly. So
she can say no.
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't know if she can say no. I don't know if she can say no. I want her to say no because I think it's terrible if she does.
Yeah.
But
The campaign manager for Conway is now going to be
the vice president. Yeah.
That
I mean,
can't
but
play.
I feel like that this is the only way. I feel like that this has been the plan all along at this point.
For Usher?
For Usher. Because there's no other means. There's no other means for him to move up politically.
He could be chief of staff, or
He doesn't want that though because he's got Jane to compete with.
Well, no, that's true. But if we pay attention to the episode, we see him also waving to the camera. I think a few episodes back, which kind of tells me that there might be a fourth wall breakage going on by him. We might see more of him in the future because if he's waving in the camera, because we only see Frank do that. Claire is now doing it, and we see him doing that.
Wait, he waved in the camera?
Yeah, like 2 episodes way back. I think.
Really?
Yeah, when Frank was getting sworn in.
But like
something like that.
directly to the camera?
Yeah,
like,
to us. To us.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
To the audience.
Missed it.
Yeah.
So I think we might see a bit more interaction with Mark this next season.
But
I thought it was. I will just say this. I thought it was a wave to kind of shut down the camera because he was kind of running things.
Okay.
So I'm just going to say that because I don't know. I don't think it's possible for him to break the fourth wall. He just doesn't seem like a character that's been around enough to really do that. I mean, it took 5 seasons for Claire to do that. So.
But it's just remarkable to me that would even be a storyline that could happen, that the campaign manager from the rival would somehow be the country would revolt.
I don't love his character either. Like, Usher's okay.
Yeah.
He doesn't really bring much. Doug Stamper would be a lot more fun in that role, but is it going to ever happen? No.
But it would make more sense for the chief of staff moving to the vice presidency.
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, speaking of chief of staff, Leanne being robbed out of her position and then being killed 2 days later.
Yeah.
Upset.
Did you guys see that coming? I don't know.
No.
Well, we don't even know if she's dead yet, so we're not sure she's dead. But that was a vicious way to go about it. But it seems like, do you guys think that that's going to cause a rift with Doug?
I was thinking that very thing. I think that is possible, especially if he was feeling like she was the only one he could really confide in. Though Frank is still and always will be his best friend and the one that he looks up to. But, I was still feeling that Leanne was becoming that person that he needed in his life, and for her to just go off like that.
Yeah. And
That's not good.
And if he finds out that Frank is behind the offing, I think that he might decide to go scorched earth next season. Decide I'm just going to be truthful.
Yeah.
I mean, Jane has a lot to do with Leanne, and the way Jane and Frank were talking before she went into her weird odd yoga session, I feel like Frank has brought on Jane, and we don't know about it. The way they're talking on the phone.
That's a very good point.
Planning the way they would, kill Leanne and all that. He's there to control Claire while Claire is president.
For me, Jane is like the one person who's like will not be controlled. She just seems like she's the one pulling all the strings.
But I will support you in the fact that every single time, if I'm right, every single time that we do have a questioning of why Jane is around, it's always Claire asking. It's never Frank. Claire is always asking, why is she around?
Well, because she's like always in Claire's face with here's how you murder these people.
But exactly. And who is pulling the strings for Jane to be around? We've always wondered this.
But you do remember
clearance and everything.
Jane did say Frank does have a problematic liver, so you would think that she wouldn't be turning so quickly on the guy that brought her in.
Again,
she's faking it probably, so Claire doesn't assume anything.
This is possible.
I was fishy at the exact scene you were talking about. I was like, who is Jane really kind of siding
where her
with?
interests lie. Yeah.
And then, did you guys see how the gun had blood inside the Ziploc bag?
I missed that.
Did you see that?
No, I missed it.
When she gave the gun back to Leanne in the kitchen, when they were going through the weird hacking system to get Aiden's NSA information, you didn't see how when she handed her the gun, there was blood in the Ziploc bag?
I thought it was clean, but
maybe I just get too detailed.
Yeah, you're like, this is good though. That's excellent.
Yeah.
And of course now Seth also told to go away. Ooh.
Yeah, that's always a bad thing when Seth is now feeling threatened because he always has some loyalty questions, and who knows what's going to happen.
They know too much. No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say that scene was so funny to me because Seth was like, oh, poor Doug, like, that's so sad.
Poor you.
Like, but also, you're
gone.
Gonna
go.
Yeah.
But I did like that Seth tried to kind of play on the rapport, and Claire said, have we even had a drink before? Have we had a drink?
Yeah.
I thought that was her letting you, like, we're not that close.
I mean, in that scene, I just have to mention Claire's out-of-character dress. It was a beautiful dress, that blue, but it was so Alice in Wonderland.
I agree.
La La
it was
Land.
a weird choice. And I wondered kind of what it
meant. Yeah.
I thought it was just like a fashionable.
She's so
the bright color, new day, new president.
Yeah, I just thought it was a
that's what
fashionable
I'm thinking. It's a
We're
new
just
her.
so used to
We're
the
not
military.
ladies. I don't know. Maybe we're like.
We're used to the military chic button up. I'm here to control
Right.
the day kind of gear.
Yeah.
So.
And I liked Claire's press conference and how. So now she's got the presidency, and they finally get Amadi. And I love that war room scene. It was a great scene. It kind of mimics what we've seen in real life.
Yeah.
And so, what did you guys think about that press conference? And of course, she doesn't say anything about the pardon, but what did you guys think about that press conference?
I think it was beautifully done.
I was a little irritated that they took they took the direct quote from Obama's speech of when we got Bin Laden, like, we got him. I'm like, oh, come on, you guys couldn't do anything.
She repeated that.
That's why she did it. She did her
Why did she
Obama
repeat
impersonation.
that?
It's like, come on. I thought that was hokey. I did not need that. So,
Hokey.
Yeah.
hokey. I thought it was cheesy. I thought it was lame. I was very disappointed by it.
Yeah.
I liked the press comments was a giant subtweet. Like, she's talking about Frank without talking about Frank.
Exactly. Yeah,
I was
that was
this is some shady wording. I love it.
And she just declines to even give him the pardon, the whole deal. But we're finally, it looks like she'll have the good backing of the people because we're finally at war and we're in Syria getting U.S. troops on the ground. Mm-hmm. What do you guys think about that, pulling that trigger?
It's going to be interesting to see how it affects her presidency, how it makes her actions influence throughout next season, and also how it's going to play with Frank, because Frank is then going to have an in with maybe controlling domestic policy while she's dealing with foreign policy. It makes him a little bit more valuable.
Yeah.
I think it shows that she's still kind of controllable. She can't really stand on her 2 feet yet to make decisions on her own. She's been influenced to start this war by Mark, by Jane, and Frank. That's what it represented to me. She needs a bit more seasoning, I think.
I'm glad that they brought the war storyline in already, because that kind of picks up the pace a little bit, I feel like, going into next season.
Let's hope.
Yeah.
But that's exactly what we thought. It was literally how we ended last season, too, when we said, like, we're going to war.
Yeah.
And now we're finally going to war. And it's
I just don't want it to
took
be
a long time.
repetitive. Like, I know there's separations of power. Now it's finally, Frank and Claire versus each other. I just want more plot scenes, more answers, nothing repetitive.
Yeah, for me, I felt they almost try to get rid of characters a little too, haphazard, because obviously Eric has decided he's gonna scale the fence and just get shot.
Clingy step 10 now, not even 5.
I mean, I was fine with Eric just kind of going away and living a life off screen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he didn't seem like a threat to the Underwoods. Like he didn't seem no animosity.
Yeah, I get you.
So. I don't know why they felt the need to kill him off.
No,
especially like this. It was sort of random.
It wasn't necessary, unless they really felt like they did not want to, have that loose end around, which more than anything, probably, it might have been like a monetary issue, like they didn't want to bring on this actor for another season or something like that and deal with that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So they're just like, okay, it's not important
They don't
enough
have
to keep
money
around,
issues.
so we'll just kill
They don't
him.
have
You would
money
think,
Yeah.
but it's possible.
Or
They
getting rid
made
of loose
something
ends.
stupid
Everyone
like
that's
that.
a loose end, just killing them off.
Yeah, what do you
who
think
do we
about
go
that? 'Cause,
kill?
I just, what did you guys think of that scene? I'm like, why is he scaling the? He didn't seem that crazy. You know?
No.
To me, desperation. It looked like he missed Frank. That's what I got.
Yeah.
Like, I want to see the president. I want to touch your face. Or that's what I got out of it.
It's a little, it was a cheap out, and also
Yeah.
he didn't have a gun or anything like that, and the Secret Service does not kill on sight, even in the White House gardens.
Yeah.
They tackle the guy unless he poses an immediate threat to the president.
Yeah.
Or to their own lives.
Yeah, I would have thought he could have stopped at, when Frank is traveling, he could have been easier to try to access,
Yeah.
Or he was just so surprised that, oh my God, Frank resigned. He's out of his status. He was maybe in pain.
I thought it was a very weird murder or kill off.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I mean, we killed so many people this season.
We did.
Aiden, Leanne, Tom.
Yeah,
and we predicted a lot
Almost
of them.
Lisa, kind of, we were getting there, but then,
And
She dodges another bullet.
And then we did have the specter of Tom Yates, because finally we have the one lady questioning, where's Tom? I've been calling him. So I think we might see some of that.
I think we're going to see the chapter unfold where did the speechwriter of the president go?
That's what I've been wondering. Why has no one been asking, where's Tom
He
Yates?
has some kind of recognition, even though the dialogue was horrible with him and Claire.
He was always seen with Claire in very prominent venues, and no one's going, where's Tom Yates?
Yeah, but now the tour guide went to the correct person, Sean, who is the nosiest person,
Yeah.
and he will get to the bottom of this.
He will. Where do you think his loyalties will lie coming into next season?
You think Sean will get to the bottom of this?
Yeah, because she told Sean.
But I don't know if Sean
Sean
really cares.
Sean, it's not that he doesn't care. I mean, it feels like he's just one, as you said, he's just a nosy person. He just kind of wants to get at the bottom of random things that come to him.
Well, he also said to Tom in the White House that once you're in the White House, you're in. This is what I lived for.
I saw someone online call him the Kellyanne Conway of House of Cards. And I was
That's so funny.
Sean?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah,
not necessarily a compliment. Well, I guess it's time to go into our prediction. Oh boy.
Oh, I'm sad.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Start with Mr. Ellis over there.
Oh, we're starting with me.
We'll make our way
Whoa.
around.
Well, I'm thinking next season. Do you? I don't know if
Claire?
he doesn't kill Claire.
Do they both survive?
They
Yes,
both
they both
survive,
survive,
but
absolutely.
they both might have their own downfall. Or at least I don't see both of them having the office of the presidency at the end of the season.
Oh, wait, do we know if next season is the last season? They haven't announced
There's
anything like
rumors,
that.
but it's
They
not
haven't.
announced.
Okay.
I can't imagine it's going to go on longer than next season.
It was originally supposed to be 2 seasons, and we're already 5. So
Yeah, I mean the original series had 12 episodes, I believe. So the UK version, so it almost it's gone way past that
Yeah.
with this series, and it's good. But there have been slow moments, and I think that we all felt that this season, while it started out very, very well, it got a little slow.
Yeah, where are the Conways? We miss them.
yeah.
So my biggest prediction, I think, would be that I think Doug does go to jail or does not make it out of this, or Claire does not support him. So
Yeah. I am hoping at least we get some more of the journalists. I've always really loved the journalists on the show, and I feel like they barely got anywhere this year.
Yeah.
And so I want that storyline to kind of blow up. I also feel like Mark maybe VP, but I can see a female VP with Claire.
Yeah.
I can definitely see her wanting to like have another woman in charge with her.
Yeah.
So I think that would be super interesting. And I hope Leanne's not dead because she was one of my favorites this season.
Yeah, maybe Kathy, but she's
Kathy.
recovering somewhere, right?
I
Is she not
know.
gonna dime out? He pushed me down the stairs.
Yeah.
But anyways,
that would be interesting.
Oh gosh. Well, I do agree with you both, but I kind of want to see, Claire break the glass ceiling more. She has.
Oh, yeah.
Finally,
She's there, yeah.
a president that's a woman. But also, I want to see how Frank and her are kind of going to go towards each other and see who's going to win and all of that, and how Frank's going to try to tear her down. But I also want to see the tensions between Mark and Claire be more explored. Yeah, kind of what I see.
I think Frank or Claire, one of them does not survive next season.
Okay.
And I hate that they're not together, because that's what I've loved about this show is like them together, like battling against everyone else. But when she says my turn and she doesn't answer the phone call, and Frank has said I will kill her, if I don't get the pardon, I think one of them doesn't make it out. Kathy Durant, I think, is going to be excellent next season. I hope they just don't forget about her and don't bring her back.
No, I hope
but
so.
she's the only person who's got the reputation, and physically he pushed me down the stairs.
Yeah.
So like she's the only one that can really hem up Frank. And I think we're going to see Doug turn on Frank too, because I think Doug's going to find out that Frank had something to do with Leanne, whether or not she's alive, but he'll know that he at least tried to kill her if she's not already dead. And I think Doug will turn on Frank. So I think,
Interesting.
Yeah, I think those would be the big things. Well, let's hope. We'll see what happens.
So much more betrayal.
Yeah, it's going to be just I think it could be an excellent season if it's the last one. Because I think if it's the last one, they can really go for broke.
Pack it
you
in,
know. And I want to see the Conways. I want to see what's happening with them, and I want to see the election, the fact that it was stolen, be exposed to some degree.
Okay.
I
So-
want Jackie and Remy back too.
I was gonna
miss
say
them.
I don't see Remy back just because of who Mahershala Ali has turned into.
But this is still Netflix House of Cards. Yeah.
I mean, he might make an appearance. He's just not going to be in for multiple episodes. I do think that Raymond Tusk is going to come back now that Frank is in the private sector. I know
They may be
but
working together.
They may be working together, and something may happen that might actually be fun with Raymond.
Well, I think that's why Frank is turning to the private sector because of Tusk, because he sees what power he has. So it's like, okay.
Yeah.
And I guess I'll leave you. One last question for y'all's predictions is: do we find out that Frank kills Zoe Barnes next season?
Does it come to fruition? Does
know
Tom
yet.
Hammerschmidt actually do
Finally
it?
get the-
I think he has
dirt.
to. No, I agree with you. I think he finally does. He has been in more episodes than anybody but like Stamper, Frank, and Claire. Like seriously, episodically. And now he's at his lowest point. And typically that's some redemption. Typically in normal storytelling, when somebody goes down, they typically pick themselves back up. Because you saw literally when he was in the conference room talking about what he could contribute, he couldn't contribute anything. And now I feel like he's at a point now where he has to go for broke. Otherwise, his reputation is on the line. Everything he's worked for is on the line, and he's letting down Zoe Barnes and her dad, which he is truly gotten a personal vendetta against now with Frank.
I selfishly just love Constance Zimmer so much, who played Janine in the first 2 seasons, and she made an appearance last season for like an episode. I would love to see her come back and work with Tom Hammerschmidt. That would be amazing.
That would be interesting, yeah.
So
She definitely could.
Do you think they get to the bottom of it?
I think they do.
Because that was one thing that they've continued to kind of dangle, you know.
Or they might not and just leave us to think that Frank Underwood will just always be this untouchable god. So they can even wrap it up like that too. So I don't know. I'm sad. I love House of Cards.
Yeah,
so.
I might try to binge watch it again just to see how it feels like watching it somewhat continuously.
This season has been just amazing with Claire's outfits. You know. This episode, her black on black suit with her red bottoms, and no one can, smoke a better cigarette than Frank. I know we didn't talk about this, but that scene where he puts the cigarette in the American flag.
Oh yeah.
I get really emotional anytime someone smokes on this show. It just feels
beautiful.
like such a big symbol to me.
He knows the best way how to hold a cigarette.
And I will miss. I hope that Frank and Claire can somehow come together, even though I'm pretty sure they won't. But I miss their scenes when they're together and they're smoking and they're plotting. That to me was like the heart of House of Cards. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But well, we're glad you guys have tuned in with us and stayed with us and rocked with us all this time. Again, my name is Shaka Smith. You guys can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at Shaka Strong.
Hey guys, this has been an incredible experience and I can't wait to come back next year. My name is Louiza Sharamatyan and you can find me on my Instagram at Nobody Reads Anymore and on Twitter at Nobody Reads.
Hey guys, my name is Taylor Gates. You can find me on Twitter at alphaba_Ann and on Instagram at Taylor_Gates_.
Guys, thanks for sticking with us all season long. Everybody who's been in the chat room, following us, commenting on all of our...
And the fan art we got.
Oh, fantastic. You guys are so loyal. We appreciate it. I am Kevin Ellis. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at @TheKevinEllis.
Well, thank you guys.
Bye.
Guys, have a great year. Until next year.
Imagine it is the...
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.